Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I want to apologize, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I was sitting up here daydreaming. Shout out to the NTZ crew. Appreciate y'all being on here. There's Jacob Tanjay. I know Michael Beecher Life will be on here. He's on, I think he's on Pacific Standard Time. All my fourth quarter members, what's up, Roger? What's up, Jeff Retada? I love LaChine. He said, don't go Hollywood on us now that you got that light from Shador Sanders. That's funny too, wasn't it? Hey, Raymond, what's up, man? We'll be up in Manila, man, for a few days. I'll contact you when we get there. 6'9" is here with us. There's an old head, Michael Alexander. Good morning, brother. All my old heads. What's up, Paul? We'll hook up, man, the next time I'm in Dumaguete. He said, what's up? He said, Mayan Bunta, Kumasta, Cal, and my fellow 8,000 mile club members. Yeah, from Paul the plumber. Yeah, 84 degrees. I like that. I like that. I'm here, man. I was daydreaming, guys. Any new visitors, a newcomer to the live stream today, welcome. Anybody catching this on replay? Peso is 58.8, which is great, man. I'm glad that it's sticking up by that 59. I still think it's going to hit 60 eventually before the year is over with. You know, Thanksgiving really snuck up on me, man, because I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't hardly keep up with that stuff the way I used to. People have been making posts with food and stuff like that. Can you tell Merlin to give me some juice? And it kind of makes me miss the food. But other than that, he said, Cal, did it flood by your house? It didn't. And, you know, it was another typhoon. You know, they call it a tropical depression. Hell, I don't know the difference. I was telling Merlin, we sitting here watching. I'm like, well, damn, it looks just like a damn typhoon, the last one. The wind was just as strong, knocking over structures. I went walking yesterday, and a structure over here was knocked down. The rain and the power was off. The Wi-Fi was off. You know, the flooding. I mean, in Bacolod, it was really bad, man. I mean, I'm like, well, damn, what's the difference? Well, I'm glad it's over. The ferries were canceled. School were canceled. See, I'm already supposed to be in Manila already. Because I was trying to get ahead of this CRBA thing. You know, the embassy thinks everybody lives in Manila. This is how they think. And of course, you know, they're... Here. We'll put it over here. Thank you. What, honey? Give it here. I'm thirsty. Ain't anybody watching you? They haven't seen you. And plus, you know, they'll schedule some crazy appointments, man. That's what happened last time. I mean, you don't even have a chance to get there. Like, dude, I'm coming from Negros Oriental, so I said, okay, I'm going to get ahead of them. They got the DNA kits today. We just going to go on there. We're not going to wait for them. We'll be there when they send me the email. But yeah, you got to get ahead of it, man, just in case, man. I'm just letting y'all know. He said, yeah, I'm not a big holidays guy, just that my ex-wife made me kind of sick of them with her ridiculousness. Yeah, man, you know, when you get over here, you kind of forget about that stuff. You get out of the mood, but now Christmas, I kind of get emotional when you hear that Temptation song and certain songs that you hear He said, happy Thanksgiving. You and your family keep putting out the truth out there. Hey, thank you, man. Yeah, I just released that video. Why do we continue to argue and fight about, why Filipinos are with us? You know what I'm saying? Just be happy, man. I mean, it's obvious, though. We're still arguing about this stuff and why men come to the Philippines and all that. Who gives a damn? It's nobody's business. Okay, you're a grown-ass man. You don't have to explain yourself to nobody. I think people do that for content. They do it for different reasons, but I'm sick of it, man. If you met the woman, I don't care really how you met her, and then you came to the Philippines to be with her, you in the 8,000 mile club. You can be in denial you want. Oh, my woman's different. She had a job. She got a degree. Blah, blah, blah. It don't matter, man. Without you coming over here, spending all that money for the ticket, that long-ass plane ride, paying for everything, there is no relationship. What's so hard to see about that? I mean, to understand that. Filipinos are not going through the visa process, guys. Just to go to America to meet American men or Britain or France or Australia. They're not doing it. You're doing it. Okay? Hey, what's up? But we're in denial. We don't respect other people's perspective. I'm never going to do a reaction video to what nobody says. That's their experience. That's what they think. The guy who was doing the video, he's from Nigeria, on the TED Talks, he said that's one of the flaws in the human makeup is the perspective. So there's 8 billion perspectives. People are always going to argue, fight. There's always going to be something. We're debating. But that's nothing to debate. If you in denial, if you 63 and you got a nice looking 30-year-old woman, Filipino wife, or girlfriend, and you think she's with you for your good looks and intelligence, I'm sorry. Even if you 30 years old and you got a 20-year-old Filipino, if you think that's why she's with you, okay. I'm not going to argue with you about that. He said, I think I missed the most a good sweet potato pie. Even a good casserole. There ain't no good Thanksgiving dinner here unless you make one yourself. So just treat yourself to something good. Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. Now, in certain places like Angeles City, where there's a lot of expats, I think they have the, what is that, the VOA or something. I know Jeff Retalda and them, they have it on, because he works on an Air Force base, I think. Right, Jeff Retalda? They always have a Thanksgiving dinner. Macaroni and cheese and all that, right? But otherwise, man, they don't celebrate it over here. They don't celebrate it over here. But yeah, it's time that we stop that stuff, man. If you make a video like that, and, hit dogs holler. People are embarrassed. It's like, the whole world knows why you here, man. The whole world knows why she's with you. So why keep up with the fools? So what? I'm 62. You don't pay my bills. Okay? You really don't want to see me happy because you're miserable. So why should I care? Why should I care? Hey, what's up, Marlon? Thanks for that super chat. He said, here for the wisdom is always boss, man. But we always have a topic. And I put the topic out there to give us something to talk about. But you can talk about anything you want to, and I'll get to it over here if I can. But it always comes back to women anyway. But it's the pros and cons of dating broke women. I said broke women. I didn't say broke Filipinos. It's broke women, period. And let me be honest, my ex-American wife can probably make a video, the pros and cons of dating broke men. Because when we met, I was broke. Okay? But I do want to get some things out of the way. The definition we're going to use today for broke is a state in which an individual lacks sufficient financial resources to meet their obligations, expenses, or desired lifestyle. Now, there's a difference between being poor and being broke. I like to keep it simple. Being poor is long term. You know, you got emotional, psychological. You know, it's just a long term situation, man. It affects all aspects of your life. Poor people have given up, really. Hold on. Let's Curly. I ain't let Curly in. He just ain't gonna stop until. And if that's, you know, the situation you dealing with now, okay, but it's long term. You know, being broke is more of a temporary situation. And people who are broke, they haven't given up. Poor people have given up. They say, you know, what's the use? But being broke, they don't give up. They still have goals. They still have plans. They're still looking for their ship to come in. See, a broke man will still get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to make it to a 7:30 a.m. job. Okay, he's still going to make a Christmas list for his kids and all that. Poor people don't do that. What's up, Elat? But let me say this, nothing beats good character. That's not what we're talking about. But it's a decision we make. Certainly, if you're dating women in the Philippines, it's a decision you make to date a broke woman. So you have to understand the consequences that go along with it. Don't you want to understand that? We're not putting anybody down. We're just saying that there's certain consequences that you suffer. There's pros and cons of dealing with broke women. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not putting anybody down. But we'll make all kinds of excuses. We won't even address it. We don't even want to talk about it. Okay, then you're going to end up being unhappy because, you know, at first you seem like you're the hero. But after a while it gets old. That's one of the kinds, it says. Resentment, it says you will start to feel burdened by the financial contributions. It's one-sided. That's one of the kinds. But another thing I want to say is you can't change people. And that's one of the mistakes I always make. So instead of trying to change people, because it's hard enough trying to change your own life, you're certainly trying to change somebody else's life. So what I do is try to inspire them. You know, try to motivate them if you can. Hey, what's up? Is it Darren? He said, glad to catch your live stream, big bro. Keep up the good work. Boots on the ground. Yeah, nothing beats that boots on the ground experience. You know, you got to come over here and, you know, see for yourself. But we're just going to talk about some of the things, the pros and cons. Some guys, you know, they can't handle it, so they'll get the visa and take her back to their own country so she can get a job and pull her own weight. You know, but let me say this. One thing you don't understand is when people are poor or they broke, it's stressful, man. And so she's already been that way before you meet her. And you don't know how long, probably her whole life. So she suffers from that stress, but you don't know to what extent. So you go into a relationship with a stressed out woman, man. You've been broke before. Well, you don't have the money to you know, meet all your obligations, expenses, and your desired lifestyle. But imagine being like that your whole life. The stress there. That's one of the cons. Because you don't know you coming into the relationship. Remember, we jump into these relationships. We all in on day one. Now you got a stressful ass woman with you. But it ain't gonna last long. See, that's one of the pros. Because eventually she's gonna start feeling better living with you because you're gonna raise her level, her standard of living. But that's the one kind that you really need to understand when these women are stressed out when we meet them, man. They're not these happy women that you think you dealing with. That's a front, man. He said they're using the J1 visa, student visa opportunity. Most of them can't get a tourist visa. Well, they're not doing it to come over there and meet a man. I'm talking about the masses, guys. They're not doing it like we're doing it, like we're using our passports to come over here. They can't do it. It's so difficult. You don't see it. Without you coming over here, there is no relationship. I guess you're going to push back on that? Okay. I'm sorry, man. You know, it is what it is, but so what, man? He said, just be happy with the person you're with and not worry about who others are with and why. That's my take. And that's true, but we're human beings, man. We're not going to keep it simple like that. We're not going to stop right there, Raymond. That's really all we should do. But everybody wants to prove that they're the exception to the rule. Okay, so if you are, you're not the exception to the 8,000 mile club rule. It's just not normal. Would you agree with me that it's not normal to come 8,000 miles to meet a woman and be with her? He said, I guess I'll be having a Thanksgiving meal provided by the owner of my hamster wheel. Yeah, I know everybody's going to at least get that. Well, y'all going to have a long weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What's up, Matt? He said, yeah, I was broke when I met my wife as well. Yeah, I was broke, but I wasn't broken. There's a difference between being poor and being broke. But honestly, a lot of us, we date poor women, but I don't want to disrespect anybody because some people, they didn't have any say in the matter. You know, it doesn't mean that you can't meet somebody with good character, even great character, because nothing beats that. You know, then you can inspire her, you know, to reach her goals, to achieve her financial, you know, stability. But let's not, you know, fool ourselves, okay? Let's not fool ourselves. I will say that if she wants to shop at the Okay store, let her do that, man. I should get mad at Maryland. But I can't change Maryland. They get some type of satisfaction out of that. And they've been doing it their whole life. I'm not going to come in here and in a few years. He said, Cal, I bet if you were to smoke a turkey like we do here in the South, your Filipino family would be looking forward to this holiday. What's funny you said that because I've got I consider him a friend now. He lives in Salai, I think. And I met him through the engineer. His wife's a nurse. And he said that what he did was he bought some turkeys over here and introduced her and her family to turkeys and stuff. Now they're raising turkeys. And they celebrate Thanksgiving, he said. Because remember, my house was built in October, so I met him right after my house was finished. He came over here right before I had my house warming. The house was done, and we were talking about Thanksgiving. And he said, yeah. He said, he introduced his Filipino family to Thanksgiving. Now they're raising wild turkeys and, you know, and chickens. He said, I'm with a woman that was broke. She ain't broke no more. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Being broke is temporary. Being poor is long term, but she's got insufficient income. Most of the women we deal with have insufficient income, guys. We call it flat broke, dead broke, broke, whatever it is. There's consequences that you're going to pay dating broke women. I don't care what you say. They're going to make videos. Oh, it's not true. Blah, blah, blah. Right? But it is. But one of the pros is a lot of women that we meet over here in the Philippines, and I'm in the Philippines, even though this is relative to any place in the world, okay, is you're going to meet women over here who are motivated and they're ambitious, man. They want to get out of that situation. It's very few women that I've ever met over here that I've dealt with that were not motivated and ambitious to get out of that situation. You know, that's the reason they want to date a foreigner, okay? And if you meet a woman who's poor and just wants to depend on you for every damn thing, I don't care what she looks like, man. That's just going to get old. You're going to get angry, but a lot of the women that we deal with over here, they're motivated to get out of that. That's why they deal with foreign men who are much older, who have nothing in common with them at all, who aren't attractive. Okay, that's part of her motivation to change her life. What's up, Calsan Whistler? He said, for sure, as my girl went to Baguio for the Department of Education Union Conference, and I slid her $5,000, so while she is there, she can have a better time. And she was going with 1,000 or 2,000. Yeah, I enhanced her lifestyle. Yeah. Yeah, but you are. If you come here and you go into Thailand, you're eventually going to, you've dealt with broke women because you haven't had it all together your whole life. That's why I don't take anything for granted. I'm grateful for my situation because I've been on the other side. Because getting high and drinking took all my money. I was broke. I was flat broke, dead broke. But I was motivated and ambitious. Okay, I wasn't going to remain broke. It was temporary. Okay? But we're not saying you have to come 8,000 miles. If you come, you went to Thailand and fooled around with a woman over there, so you part of 8,000 mile club. You're no different than anybody else. You can make yourself seem different. You ain't no different. You need to get you one of these patches. You guys need to get out of denial. He said, I had a few broke women in my lifetime, but I couldn't stay with them. It just didn't work for me. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a decision that we make when you decide to date women over here. They're going to be poor or broke. Okay, but it doesn't mean that they're less than. It doesn't mean they don't have great character and that you can't help them achieve their financial stability and whatever goals they have. But when you meet them, when you come over here, they're going to be broke. He said, being broke is subjective. He said, a large portion of men moving to Southeast Asia are broke by U.S. standards, but well off by Southeast Asian standards. Yeah, that's true. But when you come over here, you're not broke. Okay? We're not staying in the United States. That's one of the reasons we're leaving the United States. Okay? Because like I said, I've been on the other side, and it is subjective. Even with the money you're earning, there's women over there who are going to say, oh, you're broke. But I think you know what I'm talking about, man. We can break it down to the very last compound, Cisco, if we want to. But I don't think that's necessary, man. We're just going to keep it simple. The pros and cons of dating broke women, because most of the men watching this, you're not one of them. You met your Filipino girlfriend a wife in America. We're coming over here to meet a woman, and they're broke. That's why I come up with my subjects. But yeah, we can get technical like that, but you're not broke over here when you come over here. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, we already had that discussion. But guess what? You're going to have to deal with it. We know why we're coming. But if you think that's not going to affect you, man, this is what happens to you. This is why these relationships don't work out a lot of times. Because you don't know what you're stepping into. You just see the little pretty face, oh, she's attractive, and think, oh, yeah, it's all going to work out. No. You become resentful. Okay? Because her expectations are going to start rising. Okay? But this is why people, but you're right about this, but this is why people go broke and everything. They really don't know what they're getting into when they come over here. I don't know what videos y'all watching. See, they get mad at me because I tell them the truth. Oh, you're busting our bubble. No, I'm not. I'm getting you prepared for what you're walking into. Okay? All you got to do is come over here, boots on the ground. You'll see what I'm talking about. From all angles. You'll see the 360 of it. You'll see right away that this woman's not with this obese man because she loves him. She finds him attractive. Okay? Some of these men all crinkled up and everything like that. They're not with your ass for that. But, okay, motivation is one. That's the good thing about women over here. See, I like a motivated woman, an ambitious woman. Okay, I tell you all the time about my son's mother. She done built a house over in America. Oh, she's not with a man. She's single now. She divorced her husband years ago. He died. She got the finance and everything on her own, but she was like that when I met her. You know, to me, before I understood what was going on over here, I'm like, you're getting on my nerves, because every day it's like, well, what's your plans for me? What are you going to do? Because she knows, like I tell y'all before, you're not just going to come over here and lay down with these women and blow out their backs all the time and this and that for nothing. They expect something out of it. But some of you guys are in denial. You're delusional. But that's one good thing, man. If you'll see, a lot of them have degrees, and even if they don't have degrees, they're very intelligent, man. All they need is your backing and support. And they can take it from that. He said, I'm working on Thanksgiving, but I'm off on Friday at least. Yeah, you still have that 3-day work week. He said that's women though. Most chicks try to find a good deal by buying that off-brand stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not just talking about Filipino women. This is relative to everybody, wherever you are. If you're in Colombia, Brazil, Thailand, these are broke women you're dating. The most of us are dating. Okay? He says, I just got here. What I missed? They begging for $40 every Friday. We're just talking about the pros and cons of dating broke women, poor women, whatever you want to call it. Because the young guy said, hey, Cal, if they flat broke, it ain't going to work. I said, well, he was just looking at my title. This is before I even went live. He messaged me in WhatsApp. And I said, yeah, but that's what you're dealing with when you come over here. So just knowing that, what's the psyche of people, the women that we're going to deal with when we come over here. She's stressed. Okay, she's stressed. Now, how stressed is she? Is she crawling up the walls? How stressed is she? He said, sometimes if we are good financially, we forget the desperation of being broke. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't. That's the reason why I'm still sober today. I never forget, you know, my sponsor told me, he said, if you keep that in the forefront of your mind of what it used to be like, don't dwell on it, but certainly don't forget it. You never have to worry about taking another drink or another hit of dope or whatever it is. And it's worked for me for 27 years, almost 28 years. But that's what happens. We come over here, all of a sudden, we the big shots. We didn't forget, hey, we were on that other side before. You know, yeah, it's levels to being broke. You flat broke, dead broke, broke. Some people are poor because it's a long-term situation. But y'all think it's not going to be a problem. You think it's not going to be any consequences associated with that. It is. That's just human nature. He said women really can't just go to America. Okay, we can stop there. We don't even got to finish the rest of your sentence. This is what I'm saying. But you got these guys in denial who thinks, it's a, fair exchange. It's not a fair exchange. If it was a fair exchange, then just as many Filipinos will be getting on planes coming to America to see your dusty ass as we are coming over here to see them. But it's not a fair exchange, Raymond, and you know it. Especially what's going on now, making it much harder. It was always harder. Somebody's got to run the Philippines. They want Filipinos running the Philippines. They can't have, it's enough people leaving already. With OFWs and just, K1 visas, Alpha visas, and all these other visas that the guy was talking about. It's a brain drain already. Somebody's got to stay here and run the Philippines. He says, off the record, he said, I believe men would be much happier if we just accept the nature of women for what it is. It's pay to play. Let's not get mad at the gold diggers and just get one we can afford. Well, this is what I was talking about earlier. Actually, I touched a little bit on it in the video I released today. It's like, well, at what stage do you reach in your life where you say, I don't give a damn what you think about me? Because when you come to the Philippines and places like that, you're going to get attacked. They may not even say it to you in your face, but they're certainly talking to you behind your back. They think you're weak. They think you're less than. Oh, look at him going to the Philippines, It's not like you going to France. People never ask me. Imagine how many trips I've made over here and back to the Philippines from America. No one's ever asked me to bring them a souvenir. But if you go to London and France and all those places, you can even go across the border to Canada. Hey, bring me something back, a t-shirt or something. They don't ask for diddly when you come over here. It's like, that's how little we know about the Philippines. Like, this is the worst place in the world, and we've had that discussion before. But people are in such denial. So that's the way men push back. We justify why we're here when you don't have to do that. You're a grown-ass man. You don't have to justify anything you do. I'm tired of justifying and explaining myself. Look, I live in the Philippines, okay? Let's go on, let's move on. You want to know anything about the Philippines, I'll give you what I give you. But I'm not going to apologize for being over here and having a Filipino girlfriend, basically my wife, and the choices I made over here. Those days are over, man. I'm not 22. I'm 62. If you want that type of explanation, you got to go somewhere else. Now, that's being a weak man. Okay? I'm sorry. That's being weak right there. You retired, and you sitting there explaining to them your decisions about your life. Okay? But here's another pro about dating broke women or poor women. They tend to be simple, man. I know it's the case when it's over here. And when you deal with simple women, they really don't want a whole lot. Remember, Marilyn still shopped at the OK store. I can't change. I can't break her. You know, I could buy Marilyn anything she wanted at the mall. Booby anything she wants at the mall. But she would rather get it to OK. She does it before I even have a chance to take them. You know, it's just something that it's part of their culture. I'm not going to, get in the way of that. Maybe her and her friends get together and that's a way that they bond. I don't know. He said, I got 2 patches. I'm the unofficial team leader. Oh, man, but I had one. Because, see, I keep forgetting to bring these to my meet and greets. And that's why I still got a bunch of them left. But the first time I bought those meet and greets, I want to shout out my buddy, Whitfield. He lives in, I'll just say that. I ain't got to tell his whole name. He lives in Cebu. And he's a world traveler. He travels all over. But anyway, he bought he bought every last 8,000 mile club patch I had and gave them to everybody that was at the meet and greet. I didn't ask him to do it. He said, you got it. I had like 20 or something. He bought them all. But yeah, you're part of that. No, I'm not in my feelings, dude. You're always, but I'm a grown man, man. I'm not in my feelings. I come to find out, man, you might be a secret hater. You might be a secret hater, dude, with the stuff that you say. Because I want to tell y'all something that was real funny. And Q in the Philippines, he brought it up. He said, yeah, don't go Hollywood on us now. They should do it. Sanders liked your comment, okay? I'm on Facebook, and, he had a good game Sunday, so I'm on the Cleveland Browns, Facebook page, and I one of the posts that they made, I'm just like, because everybody's fighting. You either on one side or the other. It's like, why don't they like the young man? But anyway, I put, the entire city of Cleveland should get behind this man, this young man. He's brought excitement back. He's brought some excitement back, which he has. Well, I look up this morning and Shadur Sanders liked it, but it's Facebook, so you think that's maybe not the real Shadur Sanders. So I clicked on the profile picture, and there it was. It was really him. And it kind of, I just got a kick out of it, really. Because I say what's on my mind. It's true. You're supposed to be a Cleveland Brown fan. Why y'all wanting the man to fail? Okay, y'all to be thankful he's in Cleveland, because that old dead-ass city, ain't nothing going on in Cleveland. Since LeBron James left, he's like, pulling up, what do you call it when one person leaves and another one comes in, started to take LeBron James's place. He's putting, them back on the map, basically. I see where they've got the youngest world champion now, but you've never heard of him before unless you're from Cleveland. He said, I get it, Cal. There are different positives and negatives to dating women who are broke. I guess my advice would be to not only be careful for scams, also have understanding for the woman. Yeah, that's what I was saying. One of the cons is the financial stress that the woman that you meet over here certainly is under. They say, well, what is the financial stress? She's going to be stressed out, man. You know how it is when you don't have enough money. The bills is coming. You might have a kid or two. You don't have enough money. You're under stress. And how many years has she been going through this? Certainly, when you poor, there's PTSD behind all that. See? But we don't even think about it. We just see the young lady. All we're doing is going by the outside. We don't know what's behind that curtain. That's a lot behind the curtain. When you come 8,000 miles to date a woman who has absolutely nothing in common with you, other than she's a woman and you're a man. You're starting really from the basic, man. That's really like the foundation right there. Other than that, you got a lot to learn, man. You're going to come over here and you're going to see she's moody. And it's going to be, Merlin tells a lot of her friends that when they, they confide in Merlin. And Merlin says, look, it's early. Because they be ready to walk away, the women do. And she's saying, hold on, it's early. You got to get to know each other, They're all impatient, because they're stressed. It's going to take a while. But as they stay together and start understanding each other, her life improves, her standard of living goes up. She's going to start healing. But when you first meet them, man, all kind of stuff is going to happen. You'll see. You'll see. But it's not because they don't have good character. He said, you got to pay to play. No woman wants a guy that can't provide for her. But you got guys who will push back on that, Thomas. They'll say, no, she wants me for me, and everything like that. She didn't need my money. That could be true, but she needed that opportunity that you provide. She needed that visa. Okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, her expectations. Yeah, the 8,000 mile club, W Secret to Success, is when a man comes 8,000 miles and gets involved with a woman, which you said you took a bubble bath, you got a bubble massage with the lady. We're not going to argue about it. I mean, if you say you're not in 8,000 mile, okay. I say you are. Yeah, don't ever forget, man, where you come from. And that's what guys do. They forget. So when they get over here, they want to act some kind of way. They want to act new. That's why I can relate to poor people anywhere in the world because I was poor. I grew up poor. So now that, remember I didn't have any staying in the matter where I was born. I didn't stay poor. I was motivated enough, ambitious enough to get out of that situation. But I can't come over here and look down on somebody because I didn't escape. I can be an example. I can help. But if they don't want any help, but you're going to see that a lot of the women we meet over here need is a little nudge in the right direction. He said, I was broke. For most of my younger life, I couldn't get a woman to come nowhere near me. Not even a broke one. So I get it. I'll give them a break. Yeah, and, that's different, too. That's a whole different conversation, AC King. A lot of times they'll say, yeah, a man will date a broke woman, but will a woman date a broke man? Yeah, they will. But I don't think they'll date a broke stranger. Certainly not one who's, twice our age, has nothing in common and none of that. Because they can date a broke man over here. They can date a broke man over here. If you don't hear anything else on the live stream today, Filipinos prefer Filipino men. All things being equal, they want a Filipino man. They don't want you, but you offered them the opportunity to get out of the funk that they've been in for decades. And unless you've been in that funk yourself, you're not going to understand it. It's no big deal. But we make a big deal out of it. If somebody says, yeah, they just want you for the finances and the opportunity for a new life and the visa and all that, they get mad. I'm like, well, why are you getting mad when that's the absolute truth? It's the absolute truth. They're not looking for love, man. They'll tell you that because they're not going to be honest enough to tell you, oh, yeah, because they're going to think you're going to run. Okay? They don't want to hurt your feelings, but they're going to think, okay, I got a good man. I'm not going to, run him away. Yeah, what Calvin said is not true. I'm with you because I really love you. Yeah, really? You're a 19-year-old stun and you here with this 56-year-old fat sloppy pig that, is barely getting $2,000 a month on his Social Security. You can tell that to somebody else. What's up? What time's it, travel? Yeah, but they're not doing it. They're not coming to America. You can literally count the women on your fingers that are even trying to do that on their own just to see a man. I'm not talking about other ways they try to come over there for jobs and stuff like that. Man, we're the last thing on their minds. We're only on their minds because we come over here. But you're going to get a pushback. Yeah, but see, he says, what's up, D Styles? He says, as far as giving money, the more you don't ask, the more I give. But the begging is is ignoring and anger producing if you are broke, lazy, and begging. Yeah, see, but Filipinos are smart. The smart ones won't ask you for a dime. They won't ask you for 1 peso because they know you're gonna spend. You don't have a choice. You gotta spend. Okay? Excuse me. I'm just saying. They're never gonna ask you for money, the smart ones. I can't remember Maryland ever asking me for anything. That's the truth. And the only time my ex-wife, who was together 10 years, she asked me for, I believe it was 1,000 pesos one time. I was in America, she was over here, and they were going on a trip somewhere, just like Paul said his girlfriend was going. And she just wanted some money, some extra money. This is like 2010. And I sent her 1,000, 1,500 or something like that. But my son's mother never asked me for money. The smart ones are never going to ask because they know you're going to spend. You have to spend. And then if you're not spending, she's not staying. They don't want you because you look good and you got such a great personality and all that, man. I mean, that's just the added, that's just something, adding to the equation. But the 18 to 80 is real. But y'all don't want to hear that. That's what I said. If you meet a woman over here and she's poor and she ain't trying to better her life, they're not going to the gym, she's not doing anything. Hey, start me. I want to start a business. Even if you know the business ain't gonna work, it's showing some type of motivation and ambition. All she's doing is just sitting there, waiting for you to, do everything. But we do have to understand the women, the cultural differences. We think that don't matter. It does matter. He said you're absolutely right about the souvenirs. I didn't notice that till you said it. Yeah, they're not going to ask you. If you go to Mexico, man, when I went to Mexico, I just went to Cancun. What was that? 3-hour flight or something. They're all asking me for souvenirs. When I come over here, no one asks me for a souvenir. I'm like, why? But let's go to the next one. Yeah, because the good thing, one of the pros is, more than likely, she's going to be simple, man. They don't focus too much on material stuff. Like I told you, Marilyn shopped at the okay stuff. She never pays more than 60 pesos for something. Then she got to come home and boil it and all that, then wash it before they can even wear it. But it's just something she likes to do. The next thing is she's probably going to have great appreciation for you. Okay? And why wouldn't she? This is a no. If you and now remember, they may show it differently than what you're expecting. Because that's one discussion we always have with me. Oh, she just don't appreciate nothing I do. No, it's great. I'm talking about one of the pros of dating a poor woman or a broke woman, certainly one with good character, is greater appreciation. She's going to realize what you've done for her literally overnight, man. Their lives change. Literally overnight. He said, I think you need to struggle early in your life to appreciate success later on. Yeah, most of us don't even have a choice, though. We're born struggling. We're born into families that are struggling. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a lot left of these 8,000 mile club patches, and I don't sell them for me, man. I don't need your money. I sell them so I can do the spin wheel, but I keep forgetting to do it. It was just Sammy Davis gave me the idea. Really, he's up in Angeles City, and he's privy to a lot of stuff in Angeles City that's not available. These seamstresses and stuff like that. He said, "Man, I got a woman up here. Whatever you need to make." And I was like, "Well, damn, can she make a patch?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I sent her the design, and she made it. He said, "No, it's not a fair exchange. Even with Peach having traveled all around the world on her own, on and her owning multiple properties, yeah. But there's a reason she's with you, Raymond. Don't let her fool you. Now I'm trying to get in the middle of your relationship. Okay, there's Filipino men over here that, but you offer her more of an opportunity. You give her more stability. Okay, no matter how good her life is, you make it better. Okay, you have something to offer. You got something she wants. That's the only reason why these relationships work. It's the only thing I could come up with because she's got something you want and you got something she wants. Otherwise, there's no other explanation to why these relationships work. They got the craziest combinations. What's up, Bobby?
My toy.
Where'd you get this?
From Zach's birthday.
Oh, it was his birthday?
Yeah.
You have a good day today? Don't count yourself short, man. Okay, there's a reason. Explain to me why a woman would want to date a man 8,000 miles away. Even if she has been all around the world and this and that, I don't think she came to America to see you, did she, Raymond? Did she come to America and visit you? Or did you have to come here? I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying, don't discount yourself. And that's what we do. We come over here and we act like yeah, you're old, you're crusty, you're on your last leg, but you still got value, man. You still got value. You still got something to offer them. That's why they're with you. Okay? He said, Joaquin Noah, quote about Cleveland, said it best. I've never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation. But what's so good about Cleveland? Yeah, he brought some excitement back. And he knew it was a real statement, man. I don't be playing. It was like, okay, first of all, I checked all the other comments to see it. Is he, because you know how people, they'll make a profile with your name or certainly a celebrity's name, but he only checked that one. And I clicked on it. It was him. I mean, it's no big deal. I'm not a fanboy or nothing, but I thought it was crazy. I thought it was funny. I got a kick out of it. But when you phony, you're never gonna relate. No one's ever gonna relate to anything you do or anything you say. But if you speak from your heart, if you speak your truth, people people gonna relate to you. I'm not the biggest blogger over here. I never be. YouTube, I don't have control of that. I'm only in control of things I can be in control of. But the algorithm and all that, I don't know if people are buying, subscriptions and buying, views, because YouTube sells that stuff now. They used to frown on you for doing that, and I'll be damned, now they sell. I'm not going to do it. But people relate to me. That's why when they come over here, it's like we've been knowing each other. Because I'm the guy next door. What's up, Don? Yeah. Get it. It's called Take It. They didn't have no Kit Kats. Yeah. He's a member. I'm a proud member. Yeah, there's some good things that go along with broke women, because I'll tell you this, though. This is facts, too. Alpha, the first one. He said, some of my best relationships were with broke women. The women I deal with, they never stay broke. When we break up, they're always better off than when before they met me. Okay? I'm sorry, okay? My son's mother's over there in America thriving. My ex-wife's over there in America thriving. Even my ex-American wife. They're over there. She's dating broke men. But yeah, they don't remain broke. He said broke women will leave you after she finds a richer American. That's why we just got to be happy, man, why things are going good. Because you don't even know, first of all, we in denial, Benny, that why the woman's with you anyway. At least you ain't in denial. But I'm not going to sit on the edge of my seat every day waiting to get that Dear John letter. Okay, if you want to, leave me for a richer person, guess what? If you're going to get left, this is the perfect place to get left, okay? Because you're going to be with somebody else the next night, the same night if you want to. I just be trying to, I'm real, man, that's all. We're just having a conversation. Any video you watch with me, I'm just starting a conversation. I want people to, just take that conversation and then run with it. Start other conversation. Don't push back and argue and fight. Oh, look at him, man. He said this and said that. When the man knows good and well that nothing I said on that short was fake. A lot of men, most of the men that come to the field, come over here because we have a dysfunctional sex life at home. You're not getting anything. You either, just like, what's his name? Rike said on one of his community posts, because they come across, he said a lot of men that come over here, they've either divorced, what else did he say? They're widows, or, they haven't been on a date in over 5 years. And it's true. You coming over here for a woman. And for the man, just like Napoleon Hill said, sex is going to always be on your mind. You're always going to want sex unless you can no longer perform. But if you can perform, you're going to want that. You're going to want that. But everybody wants to be Deacon Clap Cheeks. Oh, they want a moral reason to come over here. They'll lie to themselves, knowing good and well the first thing they're going to do when they meet the woman at the airport. You're going straight to the hotel. That's all. Yeah, I mean, this is just facts, Cisco, but who would push back on that? This is like, okay, while, we have to have the discussion, because you have to know what you're walking into. But we already know what you want. Now you want to know, well, what's the Filipino want? Because that's what we always We always worry about what she wants out of it. We never talk about what we want. You're not coming over here to fulfill her needs only. So when you say I meant sex or a woman to take care of them, that's exactly right. But you're going to have guys who are going to deny that. You know, I had to get on James's case. He's sitting over there, oh, I came for the mountain. Dude, you didn't come for the mountain. You came for her mountain. You ain't come for no damn mountain. Hey, thank you, Servio Madeira, for that super chat. He said, happy Thanksgiving from Boston, my brother. Hey, thank you, man. I really, really appreciate that. I mean, real talk, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too. He said, I think I'll pass on that Deacon Clapcheek. Yeah, but that's what we want to be. We want to find a moral way. This is what the sex pet prayer is all about. You know, they want to convince themselves that they're not, you know, doing anything immoral. You even if you're just a temporary monger, you're a monger, man. Okay. The reason I always push back on stuff like that, dude, that's a long trip over here. I mean, you can, if you come all the way over here to go to Bible study, man, you can do that online. I'll be damn, I'm coming all the way over here for Bible study. But that's what these guys are trying to convince you. It's bullshit. And they know it. Coming here for no damn Bible study. But yeah, the pros is great appreciation. And you know, some men get a kick out of, the last one we'll talk about, of being Captain Save-A-Hole. You know, being the hero. You know, helping the woman, you know, get out of the situation that she's in. Because if you date a woman who's on your financial level or above you, you don't get that satisfaction. You got to find out some other kind of way to, you know, to make her happy. But when you date a broke woman or a poor woman, see, you can get that satisfaction. You can look around after a year or two and be like, with satisfaction, man, look, you know, I did that. You know, look at her now versus what she was before I met her, see. You get that satisfaction. There's satisfaction there, guys. Okay? I'm sorry. Yeah. But this all comes, this is the post-nut analysis, Rich. He says, I like the peace of mind that I get from living and working here, and I love hiking too. But let's not get it twisted. I knew what else was going to be here when I arrived. Yeah. I mean, but what's wrong with that? I mean, but that's the post-nut analysis because most men don't even, that's what we come here for. That's the main thing that's on in the front of our mind. Why would we even argue about that? Why would there be any debate on that? You're crazy, man. Y'all crazy. You're crazy. But yeah, you get that because I'm going to tell you, I would tell the woman she's with the wrong man if 6 months to a year, 2 years down the road, she's no different than what she was when you met her. See, when you meet the right woman over here, she's going to blossom under you because you've lifted that weight off of her shoulders. She can't do nothing but grow and blossom into something totally different. That's why it's okay to get a yummy 6. She may be a yummy 6 because she's underweight. She's not eating properly. She don't have the right makeup and all of that stuff and the right clothes and, the right rest. You know how hot it gets over here, man? You try to sleep at night over here with no aircon and a little fan with no guard on the front, and it's only going half the speed. They ain't sleeping good, man. Then they got to get up early in the morning, to go to work. But when she gets with you, see, you're the missing link. You're the missing piece. So she should blossom. I tell Merlin all the time, it's almost like I'm with a different woman now. Merlin's nowhere near the woman I was, she's so much better now. It's almost like I'm with a different woman, man. I'm just telling you the truth. Yeah, say this again. But this is what, see, they don't realize that we're over here. We made the trip, I love LaChina. We know how hard that is. It's brutal. So that's why we know that what you're saying is bullshit, man. So he makes a reactionary video about, simply because I said, oh, these guys are coming over here for a woman. Stop, man. You don't need content. I mean, you don't need clicks and views that bad that you're going to make yourself look stupid. And I put the link in there because I want y'all to see what he's saying. And he's a younger guy. These guys, they want to be, they want something to prove to the Filipinos. They know why you over here, stupid. They know more than I do. Yeah, you're gonna eventually. If you're dealing with a woman, man, and after 6 months, a year, couple of years, and she's still the same woman, or she done went backwards, then you're not doing something right. Are you with the wrong woman? You need to throw her back. But most of these women over here, man, they blossom, dude. I'm telling you. James's woman, rest in peace, Jim Crane Jr. When he met that woman and I first met her, and it was only just a few months later when I saw her, man, she looked like a totally different woman. Yeah. He said, look at some of our first videos and see what Chain looked like before. She ain't even close to the same person as she was 2 years ago. We make a difference, but we want to, when men say, oh, she don't want me for my money, this and that, we decrease our value when we do that. No, man, you play a big part in her life when you come over here, man. You make a difference. And that's one of the reasons why, that's one of the pros of dating a broke woman. Okay? He said, and see, Paul tells the truth. He says that sweet shaved pea motivates us as it should be. Yeah, icing on the cake. But we see all that tasty icing and got to handle our frame as we want to have an all-you-can-eat buffet. But once we pick one, yeah, she's it. And that's what happens when you first get over here. You got that rubberneck syndrome. You got that roving eye. I went through it. That's why, I say, hey, man, look, buy you a pair of dark sunglasses, real good pair of sunglasses. Because they'll even try to look through the side of your sunglasses to see if you're looking at somebody else. Because once she catches you looking at somebody else, man, it takes the shine off of you. But you're a man. You're not going to have a choice, But once you get over that roving eye and you realize, this culture's thick and, all I'm getting is a different face, basically. Maybe a different body. And then maybe you've been through a few women over here, because I would say that would be the best thing to do, but that's just by natural selection. The first woman's not going to work out, maybe the second or third, but then you'll get a greater knowledge of what a good woman over here, or who a good woman over here is. You think you know, but you don't know. You have no idea. You don't know. Your picker's broke. It's broke in your country. It's going to be broke over here. But yeah, you get that roving eye. You've seen them fans, I Love to Shine, in the province. They ain't got no front on them. The guard is all, and it just goes around. It's almost like the wind is blowing the damn thing. And it ain't nothing. They'll sit it right in front of you because they're trying to be hospitable. And you're like, well, shit, it's making it worse. They ain't sleeping at night, man. They get in this cold aircon and a real mattress, okay? And then you push that button, they sleeping like a baby. In 6 months, they're gonna look different, man. If they not, you're doing something wrong. He says, if you landed on the ground today, what would you do today that you didn't do during your life? Well, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know, being one of these fine ass women over here, because I wasn't doing that. I was dealing with Big Shirley. But other than that, I'm from the Midwest. Josh Lowell. I love, there's no beaches near where I live. There's only lakes and stuff like that. And, I'm an outdoors person, so, once the dust settled, man, but really before the dust settled, I really love this place. See, the beaches, I just fell in love with the beaches over here, man. Beaches, the weather, storms withstanding, sometimes like we just got over a typhoon, but just to answer your question, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a man, okay? So that should be my answer. I wasn't used to, I'm talking about when I was 20, 25, when I'm in the Navy and stuff like that. Yeah, you deal with, because you're dealing with 25-year-old women. But once I reached my 40s, man, the women was just looking worse and worse. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this is all I can get. This is what America's feeding me. Then you come over here and you're dating 22-year-olds, 24, 25. He said, you ain't never lied about that, fan boy. It's a trip, man. Yeah, and this is true right here. A lot of people, they know what, see, one thing that Earl Nightingale said, the worst thing you can do, and a lot of the writers would tell you this, is to deny your children the right to serve others, you know, and to work for what they get. My daughters at home, they're so messed up now because I spoiled them, but I didn't know any other way at the time. I just wanted them to have a better life than I had. But I went overboard, man. And that's why, even though it's right on the surface, though, it's right underneath the surface, man, they're angry with me because when I left, their standard of living went down. But, they were young at the time. My oldest was 16. They understand now sometimes relationships don't work out. But I'm not going to lie to him. That what I hadn't done before. Now, once I got that out of my system, it's just so much to see over here. You'll never see it all, Josh. You'll never see it all. But, I'm just being honest with you. He said we definitely have to know what we're getting into because if you happen to fall for the breadwinner of the family, which is typically the youngest, that village she's taken care of is yours to provide for. Yeah, but no truer words were spoken, okay, as far as we have to know what we're getting into. It's a lot more, it's simple to come over here. It's not hard to do to come over here, get involved with a woman, but you just don't know what's behind the woman. It's a lot. So let's look at some of the cons. Now we already talked about the stress this woman's under. Tremendous stress. To a lot of the women we deal with suffer from PTSD over here. Imagine you're just worrying every single day. You see people struggling your whole life. You're wondering, to yourself, is it always going to be like this? There's no light at the end of the tunnel. If it is, it's a damn train. They're going to run them over. So imagine you coming into a situation like that. We're not even worried about that, okay? But that's one of the cons. You're going to deal with that. the petty arguing and all that stuff. She doesn't trust you. She doesn't trust anybody for real. Okay, the insecurity, all that's going to come with that financial stress. You're always wanting somebody else. There's always another woman. You don't trust you as far as she can see you. So if you go somewhere, it's because you're going to see another woman. You know, it's not because I just want to get out and I want to go, you know, stretch my legs. I had a friend, man, Smiley. Believe it or not, it's a true story. He'll tell you himself. He couldn't even go up. Okay, he lived in a condominium, a nice one. He couldn't even go up at the park on top of the condominium by himself. Because the woman thought he's seeing somebody else up there. But that's what. Okay, the other is expectations, okay? Just like the guy said, to provide for the family. Okay? Which could lead to hurt feelings. But her expectations are going to grow. Now all of a sudden, you know, that little Honda friendly or whatever they call that little bitty when she was driving, when she met you, it's not enough. You got about an ADV. You got to have the aircon. You got to have the nice house and lot. It changes, guys. It's one of the cons because she gets used to it. You exposing her to a life that she only dreamed about before. And she wants more of it. She thinks your money will never run out. It's like a spigot and you turn it on, it just keeps coming. It keeps flowing. That's just the thing about it. Okay. The third kind is limited activity. See, when it comes to doing something, you just got to go on and do it. You got to make the plans and do it. Because if you ask her, everything's expensive. And that get on your nerves, man. That will drive you crazy. Like, look, we're never going to go anywhere. We're never going to do anything because everything's expensive. So if you want to go to Boracay, go ahead and make the plans and just bring her with you. Are you going? I've already made the plans. If you ask her, she's not going to do it, man. It's too expensive. Here. Take care. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. They can't see you. You got to come over here. Wait. Ruby wants to say hello.
Hello.
Here. Get out of here. Yeah, everything's too expensive, man. And you will get, it'll drive you crazy. Yeah, you can't change people. Okay? So whenever you come over, if you want to go out to a restaurant, you go, you make, it's your money, okay? So you got to stay in control of your money. Not only that, but she's just not used to handling that kind of money. She's going to mess it up. But limited activities, they don't ever want to do anything because it's too expensive. So if you want to take her to Thailand, you go ahead and do it. You want her to get her passport, give her the money, man, and hey, look, go on and go and do it. Otherwise, it's too expensive. Everything's expensive. You know, I've been trying to get Marilyn to go to the doctor. She's worrying about how much it's going to cost. I said, don't worry about that. I mean, it just makes me mad sometimes. I don't get mad, but you know, it just makes me go like, what's it going to take? Just go to the doctor, okay? Your health is more important than a few 1,000 pesos or whatever it is. Yeah. He said, if I hear her say that one more time, it drives you crazy, man. I forgot what we were going to do. Because we already did it. We already went to the restaurant, then we come back, and I said, yeah, you know, that was good pants it. But look how expensive it was. And then they'll start thinking about what they can do with that money. You know, that what else they could have done with the money and all that. Like, be quiet. You got to live. Remember, there's laws governing the universe. Whatever you put out there is coming back. So if you want to be cheap and you want to, skim on everything you're trying to do, that's what's coming back. But yeah, that insecurity. But then the another one is resentment, man. After a while, it says you will start to feel burdened by your financial contributions because you been in for everything. Remember the smart women over here, because we don't give them credit for having any sense. Most of these women over here, man, they got college degrees. Okay, it's just they don't run into a glass ceiling. They run into a cement ceiling. Okay, it's just a lack of opportunity for real, but they're not stupid, and we don't give them enough credit. Okay, but you'll get angry because you're gonna pay for everything. They're never gonna ask you for any money because they're smart enough. They're not gonna run you away. They're not gonna lose the good thing they've got. They know their reputation around the world, whether it's true or not. Maybe that's subjective. But they know. So they're not going to be asking you for money. But you're going to get mad. Because if she wants a lollipop, you got to buy it. Excuse me. He said, don't be like the tent guy. Yeah, they're still together though. But I doubt that his woman is happy. You just don't see the joy in her face. She's just happy to get out of that situation she was born into. And this guy's one of those conservative Christian guys. He's gonna buck the odds. He's gonna say, I ain't spending nothing on you. He's gonna treat the woman over here the same way he treats women in America. He's got the same expectations and everything. So he comes over here. This is a true story. He doesn't get a hotel room. He brings his tent with him and he puts it up in the woman's mother's front yard. Okay? Doesn't realize how embarrassing it is to the girl. Because he don't care. The next day, if you've ever been over here, you know how excited they are when you get here. So the first few days, if they got sisters and stuff, they're going to be hanging around. You're going, they go to McDonald's. He only buys him and the girlfriend something. He don't buy the two sisters anything. Nothing. So then they get up to America. So I'm already over there. I got my wife there. Because my wife and his wife, they're really good friends. They've been knowing each other for a long, long time. So they're on their way home. They're coming from up north. And they're going to Oklahoma City. And they have to come through Louisville, Kentucky. So they stop there. And my wife cooks up this just exotic dinner. His kids, he's got 2 kids. They done took off their shoes. They comfortable. They're enjoying the internet and everything like that. My wife's in there cooking. I go to the store, get Cokes. I come back, they gone. He's too damn, shameful to eat at my house. A white guy, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't excuse him for being so ignorant, right? So all that work my wife done did. His wife is in there with my wife. They're in there cooking the food. They're thinking they're getting ready to eat. And don't you know, 10 minutes later, they're at the damn Pizza Hut or Subway. And because the wife sends my wife pictures. This is the type of people, you don't want to be like that, man. But she was so, but you got to realize something, guys. She's on a mission. The women that you meet here, they're on a mission. They have a mission when you take them to your country. They ain't just going over there and just kick back and be on vacation like, oh, I'm in America. No. Okay, they have instructions from their family. There's things they're trying to accomplish. They're not over there. Remember, one of the pros is the women we meet over here, they're motivated, they're ambitious. So they'll put up with, you being cheap because she's in her back of her mind. She's like, well, I'm going to start working. And I think this woman's working 2 jobs until now. No, that's a real story. I'm sorry. He said most of the women and men in the Philippines will outsmart and outwork most Americans if given the opportunity. If you doubt it, look at all successful Phil Lambs over here in the U.S. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. We don't give them any credit, and then we take for granted everything we've got because we were born into it. So you're not going to be as hungry as some other people who really, they're living the American dream. They're just not Americans. And that's all it is. Americans are getting jealous. A certain segment of Americans are getting jealous because they won't take advantage of the opportunities in America. But here comes somebody else that will. They get jealous. Now, y'all got to leave. Y'all got to go. Let's get ice and this and that. No, but they're on a mission when you take her there. She's not there for fun and games like you think. That's why most women that go over there, they don't run off. They ain't got time for that. That's bullshit. They don't run off. They stay put and they handle business and they take care of their families and stuff over here. See, I had to learn that the hard way. Because I'm like, well, I thought my wife, I thought she was wanting to come back here with me. Yeah, after 6 months, she was gone. I can imagine the conversation her mother had with her. Like, what are you doing over here? Ain't nothing over here for you. Get over there. Oh, he's stressed. He needs a break. Well, let him stay over here. You know what you need to do. Get over there. And she was gone. No, he's not still in the Philippines. They're over there. He's a type of guy. He couldn't live here. Okay? Because he really don't want anything to do with the Philippines or Filipino people. He just wants a Filipino wife. There's so many of those. John was like that. I met so many guys like that over here. They don't want anything to do with the Philippines. They don't want anything to do with the people here. They don't want to immerse themselves in the culture. They just want the woman and then they're gone. They're going to get the woman and then, isolate. John was so crazy. John and his girlfriend used to live in that apartment complex when it was 7,000 pesos a month, which was out of the reach during the pandemic for most, of the masses over here. So him and his girlfriend were the only ones in that apartment complex. Well, the owner is a Phil Lamb in Chicago. Got smart. Say, okay, I'm gonna lower the price of the rent to $5,500, and boom, it was full. Hell, John was scraping at the chomping at the bit to get out of there. I mean, he could not stand. He was into it with Filipinos every single day over small stuff. A woman wants to run an okay store. A woman wants to open a sorry store. He's in that office every single day. Because he didn't really like Filipinos, man. He didn't like them. He didn't like the culture. He just wanted a woman. And there's so many guys like that over here. I'm sorry, man. That was my buddy, man, but I'm just telling you the truth. John had nothing to do with the culture and stuff over here. Only time John would even say anything to people was when he got drunk. He said, I need a broke woman. My homeboy thinks it's weak to seek a broke woman. The same guy who thinks men who travel are quitters and lame ninjas. Yeah. You're going to have, like Cisco said earlier, it's all subjective. It's all subjective. But see, that's where all this ICE stuff is coming from. And all this America First stuff is coming from. They're not taking advantage of the opportunities there, or they're unable to take advantage of the opportunities, and they don't want anybody else to take advantage of them. It's like, if I can't have her, nobody can have her. And that's how they feel about America. And so now there's a video that came across my feed today. This woman, this Vietnamese woman, was a teacher. And been in America for so long, man. Don't you know they deported the woman back to Vietnam? I mean, she had been there for like over 20 years, almost 30 years, man. I'm like, what's really going on over there? But that's what it is. Okay? So yeah, you're right. They'll outwork you because they're motivated to outwork you. They don't have any other choice. We're born into that. He said, cows tell the truth. Once they get exposed to good living, air conditioning, salt bed, they will never go back uh, to their old standard of living. This is true. This is why a lot of times they'll go right from one foreigner to another. They're never going back. Now they'll fool with a Filipino man while they're fooling with you. Or if they get into a good enough situation where she marries the sick, old, and rich foreigner and he dies, then they go back to the Filipino because they get the money because Maryland's got a friend here now, getting a pension and everything. But she's not with no foreigner. Okay? She's with a Filipino. And rightfully so. I mean, I don't know why, Filipinos prefer black men, they prefer white men, they prefer foreigners. No, they prefer one of their own kind, like every other race does. Okay? But you got to understand, you've got what she needs, okay? And she's got what you want. That's the only way to explain why these relationships work, because they shouldn't be working, but they work. Yeah, yeah. This is one of the reasons why we should respect the people here. He said, how many of us could be successful in the Philippines without all the advantages we had growing up in the US? He said, try to start from scratch in the Philippines. This is why I respect the people, okay, over here. Even the women, when you meet them, you see their situation, but you know that you're them in your own country, or you would be no better off if you were here and you were presented with the same circumstances. There's a good book out by Boris Watkins. He wrote, If George Bush Were a Black Man. And he's talking about if George Bush, with all of his ability and everything that he had, if he were born a black man, he would have never ascended to the presidency of the United States. It's a great book. Yeah, yeah. He said, guys like him make the good expats look bad, ignorant man with no culture. But see, the Filipinos, the one thing, remember I was talking about why a lot of black men come to the Philippines. Because the Filipinos, they look at all foreigners the same. They lump us all in the same basket. We're literally, it's literally it's level of playing fields I've seen. I'm not talking about getting a job and all that stuff. I'm just talking about when you come over here as an expat or visitor. They basically treat us all the same. And we've got a bad reputation. Now you can separate yourself, J. Kens. You can separate yourself, and that's what they'll do. They'll give you that chance to show that you're different from all the rest of them because they already have us in their mind how we are. But you can separate yourself. You can show them, hey, it's going to take a while. Because when you come over there, just think you're a monger. You over here to take advantage of our women and all that. You don't respect us. You don't respect our culture. But after a while, them seeing you and everything, getting to know you, and this guy Cal, he's okay. He don't want to take my wife from me. He's not trying to date my daughter. And the woman that he is with, he really treats her good. He treats her like a queen. He loves her, Now you done separated yourself. But up until then, we really can't make another expat look bad because they expect that kind of treatment from us. And she's being hospitable. The woman was. She's not going to tell him, hey, what are you doing? Like an American woman, she's not going to speak up and like, are you crazy? Fool, you think I'm going to stay in that tent? Get us a hotel. But he's in the tent in the front yard with the lady. And this is in Zamboanguita. This is like 30 kilometers outside of Dumaguete. I used to live there. It's a nice place, but now it's like they've got some resorts and stuff there now. But when we were there was nobody there. And he was just cheap like that. The only reason that woman, and then he won't give her no kids, she was young. See, this is why, a lot of guys, man, we don't even really, we come over for selfish reasons, and, it's none of my business why you come here. But we there's no consideration for the woman. It's all about us. Why deal with a young woman? You want a young single woman. Now, he's got 2 grown-ass kids. They were teenagers then. They're grown now. But he don't want to give the woman none, so he done had his nuts snipped. He done had his nuts cut. He don't even think about having no kids. See, those are the ones who will leave your stupid ass after a while, after she gets what she wants. Okay? My wife's cousin did that. She was with an older man. They were together 4 or 5 years. He couldn't give her no kids. She got a young man over there now. She made up a story. Oh, he was beating on me. The man loved her dirty drawers. He was rich, too. Owned several of those storage places in America, down in Louisiana. Would do anything for her, bend over backwards. Built her mother a beautiful house over here. Okay, before the woman had even come back got the visa to come to America, he built the family a new house. But guess what? The woman's trying to sell the house now, probably done sold it. She with that new man. The new man told her, like, look, you need to sell that house. Get that money. But yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll get with these women, these young women, still in their prime, still fertile. And like, I don't want any kids. Well, get with a 40-something-year-old woman that's got kids already. They may not want any kids. But it's unthinking of us. But we do it. She's asked me why he's so nice to me, Tom. Yeah, but he's not the only one. It's a bunch of men like him over here. It's the Jesus crowd. You ain't no Jesus, man. You screwing the girl in the tent before y'all married and all that stuff. But yeah, you'll get mad. You'll get mad because after a while, it gets heavy, man. Her expectations rise. Now you're spending more. And you done caught feelings. You got a good woman. You want to take care of her, but now it's more expensive. You want to stay over here, she can't get a job. You're in the catch-22. It's down if you do, down if you don't. And leave if you want to. All you're going to do is start over. You're going to find yourself in the same situation. And now she's so much better off, she's just going to jump in with Tom, Dick, or Harry. I'm just telling y'all this stuff for men who've never been over here. And if you over here and you don't believe what I'm saying, you in denial. It's true. It's expensive, man. It gets expensive. When I made who else told you that your biggest expense is your woman? They're not even talking about that on these old budget videos. Good and damn well that money you spend on a woman. Why don't you put that in the ledger? You won't put it in there. You won't put that. I mean, she's far and above your biggest expense. If she's the right one. But we just in denial, man. We don't want to enjoy our fourth quarter. I'm not going to sit around worrying about what somebody's thinking about me. I'm going to enjoy it. It is what it is. After I figured out what's going on over here, I had a choice. Stay or go. I stayed. Okay. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to deal with it. Because I'm still happier now than I've ever been. You know, you got to understand what's going on over here. It's more than what you can imagine. It's more than what you're seeing on these videos. You got to come over here and keep coming. You got to spend some time over here. I don't care how many times you've been to the Philippines. Visiting here and living here is two different things. You know, living with a woman over here every single day is a totally different thing than coming back and forth, thinking you know so much about the Philippines. By the time you leave, something else changes by the time you get back. But what ain't going to change is why she's with you and why you with her. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. But if you come over here with blinders on, and the first people y'all want to blame is the vloggers, we don't know everything, man. We don't have all the answers because we don't know everything. We're just telling you our experience. You see a guy over here living his best life, don't think you can come over here and do it. It's possible, but if you don't do it, don't blame it on the vloggers. This is what I haven't seen a video yet where they're interviewing somebody or another vlogger is going to say, well, they're lying to you. Or they're not telling you the truth. They're telling you their truth. It's so few vloggers. Name me 25 vloggers without going on YouTube right now. You can't do it. And you probably watch over 25 vloggers. There's millions of people coming over here. But you can't name 25 vloggers. You're going to name the 4 or 5 that you watch. That's about it. You know. And vloggers in America talking about the Philippines are different than vloggers over here. You got guys like Richie Rich. He's trying to give y'all the game. I mean, literally giving it to you. You don't want it. They don't even watch the man's channel. I mean, it's an insult when they're letting you in on the inside. And he's got a Filipino woman, a real woman. Not one of them old fake women out there shaking her booty, trying to get you to watch the channel. She's giving you real information, and y'all don't want it. Y'all don't want it. Y'all want to follow these mongers around who ain't teaching you nothing. When you get over here, you're going to go broke. They're letting you into the mind of the woman, into the mind of the relationship, and it's more than meets the eye. This man is getting 400 and 500 views on his videos. It's a shame. It's a shame. But then you look at these other vloggers who aren't teaching you nothing. Y'all just voyeurs. Y'all just want to look in, peek in on somebody's life. That's really all y'all want to do. Y'all don't want to learn nothing. You don't want to be educated. He said your expenses would at least double when you add a woman to the equation. Thank you. Just get you a woman who doesn't ask for a whole bunch. They're not going to. They're never going to ask. But we feel obligated after a while. Them oil changes start feeling good. Huh? You get an oil change every day and you ain't had one in 10 years? You feel obligated. I better buy the Toyota Wigo. Okay? Okay? That lube job, she throw that in there, you done. You ain't got a leg to stand on, man. Y'all don't know what y'all dealing with over here. But you're going to learn today. She ain't going to ask you for nothing. You're going to gladly hand it over after a while. You know, and stuff starts to feeling good. Because they know what they doing. They know how to take care of a man. You're not used to being taken care of the way Filipinos would take care of you if you with the right woman. You're not used to it. She ain't got to ask you for nothing, man. You're going to gladly give that up. You're going to gladly give that up because that starts feeling good. And it don't matter why she's doing it. It still feels good. You all up in your head. Why is she down there? Just shut up and enjoy it, fool. I go back over there and crickets. I mean, it's literally crickets over there. You know, damn old folks home over there. No, it's true. It's true, I love LaChine. It's true. I'm not even talking about the tune-up. I'm talking about the oil change. That's what they call it over here when they change your oil. They know what they talking about. The tune-up is the missionary. The oil change is hell. You'll get off the plane and get to the apartment if you're doing the Airbnb, and she'll have the pillow in front of the bed. Okay? And the damp rag over there. All you got to do is sit down. Yeah, just enjoy it. Yeah, yeah. What's she doing that for? Oh, I feel so good, but why are you doing that? And they do that every day. And you got a hot meal. You don't even got to tell them to cook. It's already done. Hey, your breakfast is ready. Y'all don't know what y'all dealing with, man. Crazy. Yeah, I don't know what you would call that. The tune-up, the oil change, and the lube job. I don't know what you would call that. But no, I ain't eating no booty. I might kiss the butt cheeks because they looking good. But I ain't going nowhere near that crack. I'm sorry. Nope. I don't know. I just didn't grow up in that time, man. Hell, growing up in my day, man, if a woman gave you some head, you was doing great. That wasn't even talked about. I don't even know where this comes from. When did this even start? I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, I had some friends way back in the 90s. They was with a woman, but they were running a train on her, and he said one of the guys asked the woman to lick his butt. And I laughed, man. I mean, I laughed. I was in my early 30s, I guess. I mean, I laughed, man. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, because, I knew both the guys, and I just saw him just there. In my mind, I saw him there. And the woman's licking his butt, and it tickled me, man. It's just, I don't know. I just don't know where that came from. He said, hey, you're right, Cal, that full service maintenance. I'm telling the truth. You've never been treated that way. I mean, just imagine. I haven't begged in almost 17 years. That's liberating, man. That's real freedom right there. I can do, I can be the best version of myself. Because when I was married to my American wife, man, I didn't know when I was going to get any intimacy. It was just, it was just, I just didn't know. And then by the time I got it back through begging and all that, I didn't even want it. Your head's hurting, you angry with her, and it's like, I don't want to deal with that. But then you get with the right woman over here, man, that's over. Then you be like, is that all I can do for you? Because they're not gonna, they live a simple life, man. That's what one of the pros of dating a broke woman over here. They live a simple life. But then you're saying you're going to spend more money willingly because you're going to feel obligated. It don't matter, man, whether you believe it or not. Wait till you come over and get hit with that tune-up. I gave y'all the Filipino tune-up. When you get hit with that, you ain't going to know your name. Yeah, you ain't ready for all that. That's why I don't even know half the time. I ain't gonna lie. I don't even know what day it is. That's Maryland. I don't even know. I literally do not know what day it is. You know, because I can be free over here, man. I can just do my thing, and just, be the man I was born to be. I ain't gotta, when you gotta take time out of your day to try to plan for that kind of stuff that's natural. Come on, man. It takes all the fun out of it. It makes you feel guilty. And she's sitting there, you know, like, lady, what are you doing? Just stop. You get on over there. He said, some women get, yeah, it ain't that. It's what's maybe leaking out of there, Cisco. You can't clean that thing all the way. I'm sorry. I guess you can clean it with your tongue. And maybe that's what y'all doing. But it ain't that scares me. But when did it become cool to do that? I don't, just all of a sudden everybody is doing that. I mean, I know I'm behind the times, man, but damn, I'm way behind. Oh, well, that's going to happen, though. See, that's a consequence of having a good woman over here. And she's giving you something you've never had before. You're going to spoil her. That's one of the consequences, man. That's one of the cons. I didn't write that down. You just reminded me of that by saying that. That's one of the cons. She's going to be spoiled because you're going to feel obligated. Wait till you come over here and it happens to you, okay? He said, try it, Cal. Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's still going to be some, you know what I'm saying, residue somewhere in that damn, that that's just the end of your damn intestine, Richard. That ain't the beginning of nothing, that's the end. And then your gravity is just going to be, at every time, something's going to be right there ready to come out. He said, try it, Cal, and you'll find out. Don't tell me you up there doing that, Rich, because I remember I'll be in Manila on Sunday. And when I do that interview, I'm gonna put y'all on the hot seat. Y'all had y'all chance with me, you didn't do it, but it's crazy. But people ask me, so many people have asked me this, Rich. Are you and Shane a couple? And I thought y'all were. I guess you are. It seems like it to me. I don't even know why people would ask me that. But they ask me all the time, they say, are they together? I'm like, yeah. I mean, he said, yeah, it's called peace. It is. And that's one thing that, if you have a problem with spending money, man, it's worth every peso. Yeah, I never regretted spending not one peso on a woman over here. I'm just telling you the reality of it. These guys are in denial and they're lying. They're spending on these women, man. They're too good to you. You're going to step up. You're going to step up to the plate. Yeah, I mean, when I met y'all, it was no doubt in my mind. I'm like, well, why are y'all doing that? Why didn't y'all think Richie Rich and Chain? That's obvious. Yeah, unless you're going to give somebody. It's just, I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. There's nothing sexy about that. But, I'm not going to knock you for it, though. I just said I'm not going to do it. I don't know, because I'm going to tell you something, man. One thing about coming over here, dealing with the women over here, they're so natural. They're naive in a lot of ways. Now, it's been 17 years almost since I've been here, so things have changed. But when I start coming over here, just, giving a woman some head, she wasn't used to that. Now, things I'm pretty sure have changed because the Filipino man's probably thinking, oh, I got to up my game to deal with these men. But I would doubt that if you tried to do that to a woman here, I don't know, man, if she would even know what she's supposed to feel. But when you push that button, they're going to know what to feel. Okay? No, I haven't. But somebody said something one time. They said if a woman is licking a man's behind, it's intentional. But when a man does, it could be accidental because the two holes are so close together. But hell, your balls and your butthole is far apart. There ain't no mistake in that. Hey, what's up, Ron? But yeah, guys, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for stopping by the live stream today. I got to go in here and eat. I haven't eaten anything today. I know Marilyn's in there. She done already finished with the cooking. And, you got to eat, man, because... But even, Filipinos, even when they're mad at you, they don't deny you that. It's a whole other world over here, guys. But there are some consequences, man. There's some pros and cons of dating broke women, man. I would say it's worth it, though. Like I said, I never regret 1 peso over here. Because I've never been treated as good by a woman as I've been treated here. Like I said, men are coming over here for that. They want that treatment. Because when men talk about that, they're not lying. They lie about a whole lot of other stuff. But the way these women treat you and take care of you, they're not lying about that, guys. And men want that because they're not getting that. That's one thing they're missing. I got a friend, his name is Vince Lawson. That's what he said. He said, Cal, these guys got everything else over here, but they ain't got no good woman. So they come over here. That's the missing link. But the women here, remember, one of the pros is great appreciation. If you treat her the way she's supposed to be treated, like you're supposed to treat a woman, she'll be paying you back for the rest of the time y'all together. That's just real right there. I'm sorry. Hey, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody too, man. I'll be up there when I get there, Rich. I'm going to give y'all a call. I want a nice steak, man. And I want some good Mexican food when I get to Manila. He said, Unc, how's that chicken adobo? Oh, man. You got to try Marilyn's mother's chicken adobo. It's the best I've ever tasted. Okay. She puts pineapples in it, man. The sauce is so good. You can pour that over pancakes. I mean, really. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for your super chat, super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. If you're in Manila, man, I'm going to be there for about 5 days to 7 days. I'm getting ahead of it. Because they've got that DNA kit, and they so funny, man. They think they will actually make an appointment. That's how they did us when we did the CRBA. The minute that they got my paperwork, they made an appointment. 2 days later, I'm like, lady, don't you realize I'm not in Manila? And when they say be there, it's usually at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. When they open at 7. They make it at 7 in the morning. So it's really not 2 days. It's really, they give you 1 day to get there. So I said, we'll go there early before they even make it. We'll just enjoy ourselves for a little while up there. Hell, we're retired. We'll take Booby out of school for a day or two. But take care, y'all. Appreciate it. Go watch that video I made. And then watch that description. Watch that reaction. It's only like a minute or something. But I'm just going to show you how in denial these guys are. But when I looked at it again, it sounds to me like he's never even been here before. He's talking like that. Like I said, Deacon Clap Cheeks. Hey, thanks, Raymond. I'm going to hook up with you and Peach. He said turkey adobo.